Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, or our weekend review, where we come to you live and talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a couple of things that we got coming up. Well, we're not going to get into that right now. What we're going to do is give everyone about 5 minutes to like, share the podcast, and we're going to come back with our mission statement and our guiding principles. This is the CSRN podcast weekend in review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we are back. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network, our weekly podcast or our weekend review. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him. And I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay. Is it 8 years ago?
Almost 8 years. Well, yeah, November 25th, 2014.
Right. And we have this idea that just ordinary people could speak truth to power. They didn't necessarily have to be politicians, preachers, pastors, or professionals. If you knew some facts and you had a bullhorn, we could get it on. And I'm also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo today. What do I have on? I have on a leather cap. I broke that out today. All right, that's what's up. I have on a multicolored shirt. Got the shirt in Chicago at a convention, and I pull it out maybe every Kwanzaa or every once in a while. And I got my beads on today, and as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and justice, or else we have a dynamite lineup today.
Yeah,
hey, before
in-house studio guests.
Right. Before we get to the end, I think we got our sound working.
Yeah.
All right. So shout out to the tech team.
If
all
you
right.
can hear us out there, could you put something in the chat or live? Say hello. Questions, comments, and stuff like that as well.
Or we'll just assume you can hear it. That way we'll feel good about ourselves. All right. We don't need the truth all the time. Hey, listen, I'm done with me. If you could introduce yourself, what are you wearing? And we'll get into our mission statement.
All righty. What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization that continues to keep on keeping on and all of that stuff. I really like our new intro as well, too.
Oh, absolutely.
That's pretty good, a way to evolve. And if you're watching this right now and you just seen the shares go out, today is officially Black History Month for us because, when we come back, we'll be in the thick of it after all the stuff we do tomorrow. But for those of you that might be listening on Spotify or YouTube or listening now, because you might be driving, some people, they say they like the sound of my voice. It's soothing and chocolatey and all that good stuff.
All right, watch out. My wife might be listening. All right. Damn it.
But for those of you, or even if you are visually impaired and you really do like our content, I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and wristbands and stones and bones and artifacts from being one of those people who were just a regular citizen. And through the path of activism and meeting people, I became an author, filmmaker, artist, all this other stuff. So what you see around my neck is the memories of me actually, and you can watch it on my page too, but collecting these things, breaking bread with people, learning the information that I needed to know instead of just being mad about something. I have a lot to be mad about, but uninformed madness is crazy.
Okay.
But anyway, and for the pronouns and stuff, I am him, he, and we. We being all that long list of names and stuff, those take individual concerns. I don't believe I have the right to judge anybody, but I do believe I have the right to be everywhere. So sometimes you may see me at a rave in the woods camping, and then other times marching or at a political thing or a lot of stuff. I don't believe my way is the only way. I don't believe anybody's found the only way, because if that's the case, they wouldn't be fighting anybody. But
okay, all right. I should be writing these notes down. All right.
Like he said, he's a registered member of, I am a Buddhist priest. I don't say that much often, but I think that is good to lead just like I do with my genders and stuff, because a lot of people see me at all this stuff and they get in my inbox with stuff that I know. I accept your happiness. Let's keep moving. I'm not debating on anything.
All right.
But for those of you that are out there trying to start an organization, have started an organization, are, I don't want to say rebranding, but maybe restructuring your inner core of treasurers and secretaries and stuff. This is how we've been able to stay together for so long. It's our mission statement, the foundation on which, whether it's going to be me, Brother Washington, Julian, Ruth, we just saw Gwen outside that
or Haley
or Haley.
She got all the stuff. At least she can fight.
Or 10 years from now, when our faces change and we retire to pull somebody else up to see their leadership in the community, this is how we got here. So let's begin.
All right.
We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events to help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color, for all lives to matter. Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Awesome. I want to add, because I forgot, clothing, because he talked about his shirt. It's all purpley and looking stuff over there.
It is. All right. Yeah.
Because I never do that because I don't really think about clothes and stuff. But the hat is mine, the art brand I talked about that got created because I finally found something to fight for. The shirt is another organization of mine. You can never really see what's on my shirt, but this is a Hoodstock Foundation shirt. Okay. Shout out to Devin Fang and the whole Hoodstock committee and everybody. You know, we'll be starting again with the book bags and stuff. We might have some other stuff coming, but that is the things you will only see me wearing. You can look back almost a decade. Okay. I have no corporations on my back, just community.
Yeah, I have not seen any Tommy or Nautica or Ralph. All right.
No, okay. Too many other brands out there to buy that. Actually, I know who is feeding.
All right. That's what's up. Hey, we're going to get into our guiding principles. This is the glue that helps us stick together because organizing grassroots, we have a lot of personalities, and sometimes we come off harsh. All right. And I'm saying that in a gentle way. These are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
Jody, before we take a short break and come back, we didn't mention the Black Lives Matter moment. If you think back the last 8 years, we've been doing this in this type of way. If you can think about something for you before we take a break that really stood out, what would it be?
Well, tomorrow, and I'm probably going to mention this several times through the show, just in case y'all watching out there. We had the flag raising.
Okay, all right.
That flag, I think, you can see it over there in the corner and everything like that. So the Pan-African flag, the flag that represents us, tomorrow is our fourth time. There's my hand. Fourth time raising it. So I would say definitely the first time.
Yeah.
The 100-year anniversary of Marcus Garvey actually creating this flag to give us something to look up to have a symbolism like every other country, every other people have. And you need to do some research. But that's
right.
why we're here to help a little bit, go through our page, see what it's about. But that for me was something I actually never imagined myself doing. It was told, we had tried it a couple years before, and it was told that's impossible. You can't do that. And then here 4 years later, I'm reading another poem, which I'll be getting for 5 minutes of heat again.
Right.
So,
Right. And big shout out to, in helping us make this happen was Reverend Willie Perryman. And that's a little known Black history fact that were it not for him, it would have been extremely difficult. Not that we wouldn't have done it, but it would have been extremely difficult.
Dark cuts of chords and stuff like that.
It would have been up there. I don't know how long you would have stayed up there, all right? And I would have bailed you out, all right? That's for sure. I would have bailed you out. But big shout out to Reverend Willie Perryman and the NAACP and our brother Ray Woods that let us come into the meeting. And I was kind of frustrated because some of the people that said they were our friends and allies and comrades and associates wasn't getting through, and they helped us out. All right, they gave us the blueprint, and
shout out to our county commissioners too for contacting and making sure that this has continued to happen. Because again, it's not just outside the building, but it's also inside the building. We got the double flag going on.
I just thought about that.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, look, let's take a short break. We got our sister Haley coming up, all right, with the sheer safety segment. You don't want to miss that. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or podcast week in review. We will be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our podcast or our weekend review. Today we have a reoccurring theme, all right, where we're going to have a sheer safety segment. And as always, whoever sits in one of these seats will introduce ourselves, who we are, and what gear you got on today.
Okay, hey, I'm Haley Shears. Today I have on a black sweatshirt hoodie, blue jeans, and black boots. Just simple today. I wear glasses as well. I have some silver hoops in, and a necklace.
Okay. Hey, listen, we're here to talk about Pretti protection. We're here to talk about the sheer safety segment. What is it that you think citizens need to know regarding being safe and staying safe out there?
One of the biggest things, like I always encourage or I always promote, is being alert. I say this time and time again, we have to be alert. So that's the biggest thing, is being alert, being aware, and being ready. Those three things are life-changing, and they can help you prevent being attacked because you're always ready. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready, right?
Right. That's right. That's what I heard. That's what Sean said too, all right?
Right.
Okay, so how do we? Okay, I've heard it. You don't have to. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. Okay, what does that look like?
Well, just say walk with confidence. That's one of the. That's what I want to speak on today, is walking with confidence. A lot of times we don't realize we can kind of. It's never your fault that you're attacked because someone decides that what you have is what they want. But we also can prevent being attacked. When I say walk with confidence, what that looks like is walking with your head held high, walking, being alert, walking, being aware. Do you remember when you were younger, your mom or your parents would always say, sit up.
Yeah,
hold your head up. Look at a person in the eye.
Yeah.
Those things will help prevent, because if you're confident, then you are intimidating. You look like you could be a challenge. No one's looking for a challenge when you're looking for a quick fix. You know?
Right.
So that's very, very important. It's just being confident in yourself, as well as also walking with confidence. It's just good for your self-esteem.
Okay, that's true.
You know, just presentation in general is just good. So yes, walk with confidence. Hold your head up. Pay attention. Be alert. What does it not look like? As I say, having our heads in our phones.
Oh wow!
Please take our heads out of our phones. Walking. You know, we see a lot of times, you may see people, or a lot of times I see a lot of teenagers, they're walking and they have no clue who's behind them, no clue who's on the side of them. They have no clue what's going on. They're tripping over things, but because we're not aware, take your hoods off. That's a big thing. We don't realize that when you have a hood on your head, you can't see around you. So it blocks you, which is another thing, that if someone's attacking you, if someone's following you and you have a hood on, you'll never know, because your head's in your phone, you can't see to the side, and your head's blocking your view.
Well, how did you learn all of this? I mean, what happened that you became, if you don't mind saying, what happened that you became so alert and so knowledgeable about something that most people have no idea?
I'll say my mom. My mom has always been one that promoted know where you are, pay attention to your surroundings. When we were younger, she used to work for the police probation team.
Okay.
So she would work with the youth, a lot of at-risk youth. And she would just always promote to us, know what's going on, working with those youth. I think she came across a lot of things as far as like trafficking and the situations that we don't realize a lot of children are in. And she helped us be educated. Research. Knowledge is power. You don't know a lot of things unless you research it. And I do a lot of research on just being safe, being aware, and of my trade. This is my trade, and I just research it a lot as well.
Well, I want to get to that And if I'm not mistaken, January, I know we're at the end of January, but if I'm not mistaken, this is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, where many people are getting together and identifying human trafficking as the problem that it is. And for our young people and some of our not so young people, not being aware of your surroundings, not being aware of who's talking to you and why they're talking to you is really important. All right, so we need to put up the if they could put up the graphic for Pretti protection. I don't know why they're so slow.
Yes. So even with the being aware, one thing I want everybody to realize is that you're worth it. You're worth it. If you know that you're worth it, then you fight harder, you prepare more. Have a checklist. There's nothing wrong with having a safety checklist. Before you walk out that door, make sure you have your keys. Make sure you have your car alarm ready to unlock your door.
Awesome.
Even we have to be careful of unlocking our doors too soon. Sometimes we go out and we start our cars, we let them warm up, and we think, this is my neighborhood. I've been here forever. It only takes one time. One time. Check your back seat, look under your car, look on the other side of your car, and it seems like these are extra things, but it only takes one time for you to skip things on that checklist for you not to be safe. So I highly encourage, make a checklist. If you know your morning routine, then someone else may know it as well. If you leave at 5, I know where I live at, I know every morning I listen to a guy start his truck up at 5:30 and leave every morning. I have no idea who this guy is, but I know his routine, So if routines are good, but also be aware that you may not be the only person who knows your routine. So when you walk out that door, you have to be alert, you have to be ready, and you have to be aware.
All right. And we're talking with Hayda Shears of Pretti Protection. And we're talking about being aware. What are some of the things that you think we need to have to protect ourselves?
So protection doesn't always have to be big and bulky. It doesn't always have to be ugly. It can be pretty, So some of the things that I recommend, a lot of females, we have the lipstick stun gun, and that's what you see on the screen right now. The lipstick stun gun is really compact. I have one here as well. It's very compact. It's small. It's actually one of the favorites that I get a lot of orders for, and it looks like a lipstick. It can fit in your purse. It can fit in your pocket. You can put it even you can hold it in your hand. It has a flashlight, which is a blinding flashlight. So the idea is to blind them before you stun them.
Okay.
So if you can flash the light in front of their face and then you can stun them and then you can get away. We're not here I want you to walk with confidence. I don't want you to fight. I want you, if you have to, but the idea is to get away. But as well as if you're alert, aware, and ready, then it won't be such a surprise. Being ready also helps you, I say, like self-defense classes, having these type of tools also help you have more confidence. Because when you know that you're prepared, then you're confident. When you go on the test, you sit down, you prepared, you're confident,
Right.
So they go hand in hand. Sometimes we just think self-defense and we think fight. But in order to have that fight and to believe you can win that fight, you have to have that confidence.
Okay, so I know someone's looking at this and they're probably saying, look, I know that's difficult to use. It's hard to use. Let me bring this back up full screen. And you've got one with you.
I have one right here.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh, I dropped it. But look, this is a good thing. It's safe. It's safe. So there is a lid that goes on there. And it's as simple as 2 buttons. And we have a red button, which would be the stunner, and then we have a green button.
Okay.
One is for the flashlight, one is for the stun gun. So it's really simple, the flashlight, and then the stun gun is the red one, which I'm not
see. All right. Okay. All right.
Yep. And then it's rechargeable. So after you use it, you don't have to worry about, do I have to go buy another one? Do I have to throw this one away? Just take it home, plug it up, and it's ready to go again within 2 hours.
All right. I'm trying to. Yeah, there was something else.
The pin, yes. So, okay. Tech team got our pin together. So
all right.
We have the pin. I have that as well. And it's really small. It's a pin. It really writes in real life. So you can use it as a pin. And then once you pull it out, you have a knife.
Oh, okay.
So
Hey, let me bring the full picture up.
So this is the pen, and it writes, and then you pull it out, and it's a knife.
Did you say it writes?
Yes.
There's ink in it?
Yes. Yep, it's a real pen.
Oh.
So these are, I actually carry mine with me everywhere I go. I always have a pen on me, just because it's really simple and it's protection. I encourage like a lot of women. I have a lot of social work friends. I have a lot of probation officer friends, and I encourage them, wear it on your shirt. Somewhere simple where you can, if someone was to attack you, you're coming out of the office, you can easily pull it off your shirt and it doesn't look like a weapon. They may take your stun gun, but they're not going to think that you're going to get them with the pen.
Right. Well, you said there's a comb. We're going to check out a comb on the website.
Yes.
All right. That's something that I will not need in the near future ever again.
You have the comb, they may know. I may put it away.
Yeah. I'm looking at Sean Mahomes.
Yeah.
Senior. I'm like, man, I used to have a comb, but we ain't gonna get into that now. I told Jody. I told Jody, yeah, he could. Man, his hairline is flawless. All right, but I told Jody that I was going to stay serious today. All right, starting now. All right, starting right now. You had a comb.
The comb. That's the comb knife. So we get that. That's one of the favorites as well. It's a real comb. You can comb your hair with it, or you can protect yourself. This is like the epitome of pretty and protected.
Oh wow!
You can. I can't lie. I have used it on my daughter's hair before she got her hair locked.
All right.
We're sitting there and I'm doing her hair and I'm like, I can't find a comb. Go get me a comb. So it has a dual purpose. I would not recommend you let children use it, of course. But it is a real comb and it does protect you. And once again, it's concealed. So you won't know. You can have your comb in your back pocket while you're walking to your car. And the predator will never know that if he attacks you, you have a 5-inch blade in your back pocket.
That's right.
So like I said, protection doesn't have to be ugly. It can be pretty and it can make you pretty as well. So yeah, from the lipstick stun gun to the ink pen. And we also have a lipstick knife.
Okay.
So there's a variety of everyday items that you can use and that you can have on you that could protect you.
All right. Now, not only you are the owner of Pretty Protection, you also have some things coming up. We had got these hot off the presses today.
Yes,
all right. Let's bring up the first one, which is I think it's the. Or should I bring up the February 11th? First?
February 11th.
Okay. All right.
So February 11th is the Mind, Body, and Soul. It's a community resource fair. So just come check it out. It's at Braden United Methodist Church. It's for everyone. You don't have to be a member of the church.
Okay.
This is not a denominational thing. This is a community awareness thing. This is something for everyone to come out. So bring your family, bring your friends, come out and join us. There will have tons of people there. There's screenings, there's information. Remember, knowledge is power. You can never have too much.
Oh, and did you say it was 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And we're going to have spiritual relationships for singles.
Mm-hmm.
Jody. All right. We'll have Dr. Hancock there. I don't want to mention Sean Mahomes Senior. I mean, got him in trouble. All right.
He got the hairline. He may pull him up.
Look, I'm trying to tell you. Oh, yeah, he ain't going home tonight. All right. Hey, you had something else going on.
Yes.
On the 25th of February.
Yeah, so the 25th is actually my event that I'm hosting. It's the Women's Self-Awareness Day. What this event looks like is it's just a time we'll have vendors, we'll have yoga, self-defense workshop. I'm also working on something for the youth. And it's just geared for women awareness, just for us to come together. And just like you were saying in the mission statement, self-care is important. And
Right.
so many times we don't take care of ourselves. We forget. So this event is just an event for us to come together and get resources, take classes, and just have some girl time. And then, like I said, with the youth, bring your children out. We don't want this to only be a adult event.
Okay.
I'm working on having a youth speaker come, and what they're going to do is do self-awareness for children, teach our young girls, women, how to be self-love, self-affirmation, self-care, and then hopefully we can get them in the self-defense classes as well.
All right. Hey, before we go, we're talking about Pretti Protection. There's the email address, and it's also prettyprotection.com too. And we had shared quite a few things from the website. Is there a number? We don't have the number up here.
No. There is a phone number. Phone number is 567-275-1103, and we'll get that up there for next week as well.
We sure will.
We'll get that up there. And then if anyone is interested in participating or being a vendor for the event, the Women's Awareness, just feel free to contact me. Email, phone number. You can contact us on Facebook. We would love to have you. We would definitely love to have you. And if anyone has any specific topics that they're interested in, let us know so I can touch on those as well.
All right, awesome. Hey, Haley, thank you for joining us. And right now we said every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Hey, listen, if you think, hey, listen, I got something to say, let's do it. I thank you for coming. Hey, listen, family, this is the CSRN, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Audio Jungle.
We are back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or our podcast weekend review. As always, the person that's sitting in the I don't know, however you look at this, we always ask them to introduce themselves. What do they have on, and what do they do? So who are you?
I am Mr. Sean Mahone Sr. I'm actually the founder, executive director of an awesome program here locally in Toledo and nationally, Young Men and Women for Change Academy. What I have on today is rocking our Change Academy sweatshirt. I have on some jeans and some Timberland boots, and I have a scarf on because, brother trying to self-care.
That's right. Okay. Change Academy. I think a lot of people remember Young Men and Women for Change. Correct. All right. How did that come about? You're not new. All right. This isn't something you just made up last week. All right. When did you realize that you wanted to help our youth the way that you help our youth? When did that happen?
Actually 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, January 17 years ago in the basement of a church, I was able to birth Young Men and Women for Change. And the whole concept is because literally was given a vision that God gave me to come back from Louisville, Kentucky. I was actually in Louisville, Kentucky. I was there for about 10 years. And I had previously worked for the Kentucky Department of Corrections. And I was actually a drill instructor at their boot camp for first-time offenders between the age of 18 to 35. And after that, being in law enforcement for about 7.5, 8 years, I ended up stepping out on faith and I got into corporate America sales.
Okay.
And became very, very successful. So But it was just a vision that was given to me to come back to Toledo and start a program helping youth, and through a boot camp type program. So for the viewers, the boot stands for behavior, obedience, observational training. The camp stands for Community Adolescent Modification Program. So we use the word boot camp as an attention getter for those who are only looking for the service. So for 17 years, that's what people have been looking for. They've been actually looking for some type of boot camp or scare straight, something that will help their child, turn it around from the unhealthy choices they're making.
So what you're doing is so much more. And I think a lot of us, when we hear the term boot camp, and if we don't take the time to just stop and ask you, okay, what does that mean? They will think that it's just that, but it's so much more. What do some of the youth and families think that's going through your program and are successful?
So parents literally rate our program a 5-star program. Parents literally come from all across the country to Toledo to get the help that they need. And they come from, we just did a Dose of Reality program we can talk about, but our Dose of Reality program, we've been doing that program for 12 years. And just almost 2 weeks ago, we had a family that came all the way from Arizona to Toledo to get the help they need. So when parents are coming from all over the state of Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, Florida, North Carolina, Atlanta, when they're coming to Toledo because they're looking for one night of help, speaks volumes to our resume and what we've been doing successfully here in Toledo, Ohio.
All right. The name, there was a name change. I think that you talked about this, if it wasn't last year, maybe the year before. Why the name change from Young Men and Women for Change to Change Academy? What was that like?
So I wanted to do something a little bit more on the spectrum. And what I mean by that is, birth Change Academy.
Okay.
And what Change Academy was going to do for the community was it was going to provide more wraparound services for our youth and families. So Change Academy was where I wanted to do a behavior modification program, behavior health, education, housing, drug and alcohol treatment, anger management, parent accountability program, community involvement and awareness, and then also a mentoring leadership development program as well. So, and it wasn't just Change Academy, it was actually connecting with people in the community to bring everyone to the table to show how we can collectively work together to do a greater work. So that was my whole concept of bringing Change Academy. And because at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. But if we begin to change the way we look at things, then things we look at begin to change.
All right. There's the magic word of accountability. In CSRN, we follow your post. We even loaded up. There was an event that you had. I'm going to play this event that you had last year.
Of an 11-year-old boy last weekend in Toledo. It brings the number of homicides for the year to 44. He's the 7th child under 18 years old to be killed this year. And that news is not sitting well with one local man. Sean Mahone Sr. took to the streets with an open casket to prove his point. He runs a youth program in Toledo and tells us he's not happy with all the violence involving young kids and that the city needed a wake-up call.
Dose of Reality is helping the community understand that if we don't help our youth now, 3 things is guaranteed to happen. That's prison yard, graveyard, and homelessness. So this right here is being able to address the violence that we're having in the city. We just had a shooting just this past week where an 11-year-old boy has lost his life. And so there has to be more of a focus on the violence that's taking place in our city.
Mahone says he hopes seeing the casket will shock Toledoans and encourage the youth to make better choices.
All right, so the magic word, we follow all your stuff. All right, we follow all your stuff. We do our homework here. Accountability. Why is it so important when we talk about not only adults being accountable for their actions, but also our children being accountable for their actions? Why is that so important to you?
Because if our children don't understand accountability, 3 things is guaranteed to happen, as you saw on that video.
Yeah.
They're going to be faced with the prison yard, graveyard, and homelessness. And what we're finding is, and especially with the spike of violence that's taking place with children, young teenagers, we're finding out that, the system is failing our children because just through our local juvenile court, there is no accountability. And unfortunately, when you are dealing with systems like that won't even tell parents or community that we have a program where, we want to help your child. We want to stop your child doing what they're doing. So we're going to send them through this program and then come back and let's have a conversation on the impact that program had on you. But unfortunately, for the past 17 years, I've been pushed to the side in regards to trying to give our community something that they never had, something that is successful. And then just to kind of let people know, 98% of our clientele is white. 98% of our clientele is white, and my desire is young Black boys and young Black girls.
Well, they say that there's a saying that a prophet is never honored in its own home. All right. And I think that it is important to address this. And I also realize that from me working in nonprofit for years, our children are dollar signs to a lot of people. And you pose as a threat to a lot of folks not getting a paycheck. So for people to stiff arm you and say, well, maybe not this time. Well, they're trying to recycle these dollars that our young people produce for them. And they're not going to have that disrupted. And it's a great chance that the only people that may see the value are the people outside of our community, or outside of our city and outside of our state. It's just the way things have been. And I know it. I don't mind calling it out either. Mm-hmm. But at one point, not only us as adults, but our young people are going to have to be held accountable for the things that they do so that they don't repeat these cycles of, I'm in jail now I'm in juvenile jail, now I'm in the county, now I'm at the workhouse, now I'm in the state pen, now I'm in the federal pen, now I'm dead, mm-hmm. And that's a cycle that our young people go through. And while they're going through, why am I saying this? You already know, but while they're going through each of these institutions, money is being made. It's said that, and from our research, that even our school system, each school has a number for the young people that are going to fail or drop out or to be suspended. So after they're suspended, where else are they going to go? And it appears that it's set up that way, but somebody has to intervene. And we think that Change Academy is one of those organizations that could come and stand in the way of these types of things happening. Now, the new logo, Change Academy, if someone wanted to contact you, how would they go about doing that?
So they can follow me on Facebook. They can find me just directly at Mr. Sean Mahone, Mahone, Senior. Or they can just call me directly. My phone is always on 24 hours, 7 days a week. They can reach me at 567-277-5352. The number again is 567-277-5352. So basically, people can reach out, but the thing about it is, and the viewers should understand this as well, is that I've been doing this program for 17 years. And I understand that a program like this can take paychecks away from people, but that's not what we're here for. What we're here to do is to put Toledo on the map by having a program that can literally change the dynamics of homes, community schools, and whatnot. And so it's important for people to understand that I'm not the enemy. I'm an ally to be able to address some of the issues and situations that we have going on in our community. And because people are stuck in their own silos and people are, just kind of stuck where they're at and they're comfortable with that, it's time that we start having some conversations, some very uncomfortable conversations, and address the elephant in the room. And we can't be at a time of pointing the finger when three are pointing back at us. So do we fight for our children because more parents are burying their child or children before the child or children are burying their parents? Or do we just become numb to the fact that we're losing our youth and parents are just getting, the short end of the stick? And it's really sad because 15-year-old young lady was murdered almost 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And her family did everything possible to save that girl's life. And unfortunately, there's an elephant in the room that has not been addressed, and that is, why are we not holding the juvenile court accountable for allowing these youth to do whatever they think they want to do? There's no accountability, and then they go back out and they reoffend, and then it's more serious. So they're now saying that they're certifying more teenagers now as adults compared to not locking them up. Well, that's the reason why you're getting more certified, because you didn't do what you're supposed to do when they first committed the crimes, and you slapped them on the wrist and let them out the door. Right. And no one is fighting for that. Like, none of our black leaders, none of our pastors, nobody's like, pushing the envelope to say, wait a minute, this is not right. And people are just comfortable with not being able to speak up.
Well, I think that a lot of us are complicit. Mm-hmm. A lot of us are not ignorant of what's happening. And when I say us, I'm talking about our leaders, some of us in the faith business. Those are the circles that I travel in. So I hear it, I know it, and I say it. So it's not as if we don't know. Mm-hmm. I stopped giving people that benefit of ignorance or the benefit of the doubt a long time ago. Brother Sean, we're smart. We know what we're not doing. There's some hidden outcomes that are being made, but we think that everyone's trying to help. We think that, man, Sean, Mr. Mahone, my hands are tied. Yeah, they're tied, but they're tied in another way. And there's going to be a point, and I tell all of my faith business compatriots this. There's going to come a point where our young people are going to ask us, when did we know? What do we know, and when did we know it? Mm. And they're going to load us in the backs of pickup trucks and drag us through the city, because a lot of us knew better. A lot of us preached one thing on Sunday, but in reality, we believe something else in secret that's sustaining us. But we rather feed ourselves and not feed the sheep, because we already have a commitment and a contract with Satan, so that our young people continue to flow through these systems. But our young people are going to wake up, and they're going to look at us, and they're going to remember you as that lone person and a few others that are out there that don't mind speaking truth to power, even if it makes us unpopular in the men group where we can be. But I'm fine with that. I want to put up the website. We've got Jody coming. We got either Jody or Julie and Matt coming back. Jody's going to tell me. But there's a website, right, that I want to put up, okay, so that everybody can see. This is the Young Men and Women for Change. Mm-hmm. All right, and here, safe, effective behavior modification. You can send right here. You can send the email message. You can find out about the boot camps and programs. It's a whole website. You can learn. We just talked about the Dose of Reality program. Mm-hmm. So, family, the answers are, it's right in your phone. All right, it's right in your phone. A lot of areas that we touch, where he could be located. We've got the email address. We've got the phone number. We've got the address. We've got everything. All right, so we can't say anymore that we didn't know.
Well, just in closing, I could say this. Dr. Martin Luther King was once quoted. He said the two most dangerous things is sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And we continue to live in a time where, we don't.
Can you say that again? We might have to add that to our mission statement at the end. Another Dr. King quote.
Yeah, he was quoted saying the two most dangerous things is sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. And that's what we're dealing with, because we want to stay in our silos, and we want to do what's good for the now, but we don't think about the later. And later is that we're losing a generation of children that will never be able to produce another generation to carry on legacy, to carry on last names, or to carry on what the Creator has called them to do.
Yeah.
And so if we're too busy pointing the finger and being mad at Mr. Sean for helping children, then we're going to continue to get what we dish out. So we reap what we sow. And I don't mind being the lone ranger or the lone person that's out here that's given up Friday nights for the past 12 years, from Friday night 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Saturday morning, helping children, not just locally, but globally. And then also being able to have a presence now in Arizona, have a presence in Michigan, have a presence in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois. So, this thing is expanding out, and people are coming on board to do what we do and want to learn what we do. And then the one thing that we've done that we've been real successful with is now we can go to any school in the country and reduce out of school suspension by 80%.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Family, this is a brother here in Toledo. So anytime we're having this conversation about what are we going to do, there's already people doing it. All you have to do is support them. All right. And I was talking with Haley earlier, how many of us are into investing, if it's Bitcoin, if it's real estate, if it's stocks. But our young people never come into play. All right. We even sing Children Are the Future. All right. I'm not going to sing it. All right. Because I said I'm going to be serious with this moment right now. But if we're into this investment thing, we're trying to secure the bag. Well, where do our children fit in?
Absolutely. So,
family, if you want to know more about Change Academy, log on to his website. It's Sean Mahone Sr. He's on Facebook. All right. He's not hard to find. We just called him and he's like, yeah, sure. I'll come through. All right. Are you sure they want to hear it? I'm like, heck, I want to hear it. All right. So, hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Jody. He's going to give us some of the shout outs and concerns about some of the things that's going on in the community and some of the events that's coming up. We're going to show a short clip of Brothers and Sisters, Brothers United. Brothers and Sisters United. Our sister Avis Files. This is the CSRN Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3, BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard, on the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see, on the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder. They give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or our weekend review. We've got a couple of things that we want to discuss. One is the shout outs and concerns, some of the things that's happening in our community that we need to let everyone know. And the other is, yes, the ongoing issue or tragedy with our brother Tyree Nichols, and he's not the only one that's been murdered by law enforcement. Earlier today, we got this newspaper delivered, the Final Call newspaper. You can find that newspaper at Howard's Carryout. You can find it at Yummy's. You can find it at your community market, in nearly every barber shop in Toledo. Get the Final Call newspaper. This is a great newspaper. A lot of different subjects that we cover in that newspaper. So make sure you get the latest issue of the Final Call newspaper. I got a chance to talk to Scott Sands from WSPD yesterday, and he asked about Memphis and how does it relate to Toledo. And I said, well, there's cops and there's criminals. There's police that have been designated to protect and serve in the best way that they can. And then there's criminals. So we're not going to lump in the police with the criminals. And anyone that doesn't adhere to the policies and procedures of what you're supposed to be doing, now you overstep. Yeah. So we wanted to discuss that. And go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm just going to tag in on that because I probably will get tagged. We get tagged in a lot of stuff. How long has we been doing this?
Well, 2014 as a group.
Right.
And
so what's my always question? Because now you hear, oh, what about the black on black crime? It's for me, and I think I said it when the national news came here. I don't have a problem with officers. They're people. I have a problem with bad people. It's not the officer or arresting person, skin color, denomination that I'm worried about. It's the policy that they use and the ability to take this badge and find protection against the citizens that pay them to do their job.
That's right. So, hey, listen, I'm going to bump Julian on in.
Here and J Man here, he's looking like he's activating and ready right there.
Oh Lord! Well, I didn't want to hear that. But hey, listen, we've got our brother Julian Mack live, sort of live, virtually live with us at CSRN. Hey, brother, how you feeling today?
Blessed and highly favored.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But just grateful, right? Grateful for the seasons of life, right? Grateful for and all that comes with that, right? And so it's with the spirit of gratitude that I'm here today.
All right, beautiful. Hey, listen, we're going through, we just talked with Sean Mahone Sr. from Change Academy. We talked with our sister Haley Shears, who's going to be a reoccurring guest with Shears' safety segment, just talking to us about being aware.
I enjoyed that. My laptop died, so I missed. I'm going to have to run it back to hear what Sean Mahone said. But I enjoyed seeing all of those gadgets, and now I know. I don't know if you saw the comment. If you see Brother Washington with the comb, if it wasn't, you may miss it if you're watching the live stream and you see the hat on today. But if you see him with a comb, you'll know he's got everything he needs to protect himself.
Right. We saw that reader comment. All right. I might as well put you on blast. All right. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're coming up on another election year. We're coming up within the activist community as another potential protest season. What are your thoughts on some of the things? Excuse me. What are your thoughts on some of the things that's been happening in the news, and how do you try to stay balanced while all of these things are happening?
That's a really good question, and that is exactly where my focus is. Right before a great resource, right, that I've used really this whole time throughout the past 8 years is a website called Mapping Police Violence. Mappingpoliceviolence.org. And I periodically go through and check the numbers, see the names, read the names. And right before I came on, I looked, right, 2018 was just shy of 1,100 people that were killed by the hands of the police. It's been about 1,100 every single year, right? And so naturally, right, the question of progress comes up, right? And and protecting the mental space, right, that we hope we sacrifice for an improved future,
right?
But when that hasn't necessarily manifested yet, right, what does that do to a human being on the inside, right? Langston Hughes referred to this as a dream deferred, right? Does it fester up like a sore, or does it explode, right? And that is, I encourage everyone, right, to reference that poem, right? It's the poem where "Raisin in the Sun" comes from, right? Like it's because that is exactly where we are, right? Right, is this situation going to continue to be sore and fester, right? Are we going to continue to allow the status quo of being a modern day public lynching, right, of what we see virtually online and on social media, right? I've gotten to the space personally, right, where I don't need to see it to know what happens, right? Like my mind, my eyes, my ears, right? All of these senses are very, very important, right? And when we say our lives matter or Black Lives Matter, well, there's so much around us that can desensitize us to that, right? And when we're inundated with these images every day, over years and over decades, yes, it can become the standard, and the standard can become the precedent. So, what I've done is just is take time off, right? Set boundaries, right? And know, like, we all the lady that was on here earlier, she said something that really resonated with me. She talked about like safety starts from the inside out, right?
Right.
And I really do believe that, right? Like, care for yourself, right? And then you get care about your surroundings, and then that circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And I think that's so true, right? So I mean, if we must know our mental space, though. We must know ourselves in order to know how to engage, right? Like, if I'm look, if I feel like I may explode, right? Because I'm not sure, I haven't checked my calendar, but I don't think the revolution is going to happen tomorrow, right? So, like, where does this energy go? What do I do? Right? Should we organize? Right? Where should is there something you can do on the job? There's always something you can do, but the question of where that energy goes is always important. And I think it's important to one thing I've had to learn personally is to make sure that that's deliberately and intentionally that energy goes into something positive, right? And so, me, for example, right, like I've really been digging into certain levels of spiritual growth, right, and understanding how the mind works and psychology and all this stuff, right? Like, it helps me have empathy for other hurt people, right? Because hurt people, and at some point we have to heal. We have to heal, and we have to be serious about that healing journey. And so, I do believe that hurt people, but healed people also heal people, right? And so, when we are intentional about that work of healing ourselves, we give permission to our brothers and sisters to heal, right? It's not a selfish act. I saw a post from a comrade of ours, Alex, right? It's not a selfish act to put your oxygen mask on first, metaphorically and literally, right? Because I can't help you like I should be able to if I may run out of oxygen, if I'm not doing the things that I have to do in order to stay steady, right? And so, as we, enter another time, I dislike the term protest season, but I know I get the general sentiment, right? And as we enter a heightened period of exposure to the racist conditions that we live in, right? It's important for us to be in tune with ourselves and to know, right? Look, maybe, right? Today I need to focus on Black joy, right? As opposed to Black pain, right? Because it's all equally important, right? And so, I just encourage everybody to do that as we, brace for more horrific. The transparency can leave a horrific, uh, like, traumatic trauma in the brain, right? That we all experienced it. And we all experienced with George Floyd, right? And so I just want to encourage people to be conscious of where you are in your own mental journey, your own mental life, and knowing when you should or shouldn't engage with that, right? Because it's going to give you energy, and that energy has got to go somewhere. So
That's
just think
right.
about that beforehand.
Hey, there was a before we get to Jody, there was a website. Was it mappingpolice.com? Was that it?
Yeah, mappingpoliceviolence.org. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And in there you'll see, um, the percentages per million, right? So in Ohio, right, police killed 3 people per million,
Right. We just
Right.
put that in our chat. So for anyone that's watching this podcast or maybe watching in the future, just go on mappingpoliceviolence.org and get the stats for yourself.
And I'm sorry, I should have told you this beforehand. Two brief things I just want to touch on, right? Like, I do believe that we can live in a world where police don't murder people, right? Where our tax dollars, I believe. Look, I'm wearing. I didn't get to show what I was wearing today, right? So let me just say, my name is Julian Mack, preferred gender pronouns he, him, and bruh, and I'm wearing a shirt that says the death penalty kills innocent people, right? I don't personally, right? My beliefs are my tax dollars shouldn't go to kill human beings, right? And whether it's the police or whether it's whatever, right? Like, the state should not be killing human beings, right? And so, I think it's really important that we just set that line and we understand where we are emotionally too. But in Toledo, another person was murdered this week by law enforcement, right? And I think it's really important that we stress the measures, right, that can reduce that, right? When we talk about mental health or self-care, self-love, and things like that, and counseling, or when you need help, or if you're in whatever the situation may be, to seek that help, so that you may be at peace, right, in this life. And then lastly, Brother Washington, I didn't hear. Did you hear about O'Shea?
Yes, I did, and we didn't bring it up today. We're gonna have to bring that back because we got about 10 minutes left in here before they start flicking the lights on.
Okay.
But we are in contact with our sister's family, and whatever we need to do in February, I think they go back in February. We're going to be there for her the same way we were a couple of months ago.
Well, the police officer was given a verbal reprimand for using bad language.
I
So
understand.
that opens up a can of worms that we can talk about more next week, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I'll just leave that at that.
All right.
Back to you, Brother Washington and Jody.
Right. And lastly, we are looking to set up a forum with the interim police chief soon, to see what are they going to do. So we look to having that conversation with him to put them on notice right now, because the Scorpion unit, every city has a Scorpion unit. Every city has a team of radicalized military folk, and they prey on our community. And every once in a while, they go beyond they go beyond the pale. And this is one of those times. It's not like it hadn't happened before. But this time they were so drunk in their inordinacy, in their pride, in their vengeance, that they didn't care who was recording it. So the Toledo Police Department has a great opportunity to reel in some of these things that already exist in our community before it comes to a head. So we're looking to have that conversation soon. But hey, look, we're in Maconda. And lastly, Jody, before we get into our shout outs and concern in 5 minutes of heat, the Mott Branch Library rolls out the red carpet for us every week. Every week. One day they gave us chicken. And then they came back and got it back. but hey, look, we love you still, Maconda.
Maconda forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Mott Branch Library and our sister Celeste, who is the man that manages this location, and all of the staff here. All right. So That's what's up. Hey, Jody, listen, I know we put you at the end of this, and I'm looking at the timer. I normally do this for Julian. All right, looking at a timer, but
so we got a couple of that happened over the past couple of weeks. I'm going to do my best to make sure we get in here and out and everything. So last week, I want to give a shout out to, because I'm going to be trying to highlight the open mics and venues and artist stuff, just a place to get your feet wet and stuff like that, like Lucille's or now Nicola's, who is the new curator of the Truth Art Gallery, Nicola's Art Gallery. It's on Adams Street, same place where you get the Truth paper from, right next to Carl's Poco Locos, and in between the Attic sandwich right there. So they had their open mic hosted by Nate Hicks last Wednesday, and no, it was Thursday. Could I go see the kids at which is been very interesting. I'll be back there this week going to see the kids at Mad Poet Society. Maybe at some point in time we'll actually have them come in, or their directors now come in and talk a bit. But so they had that open mic going on. There is another open mic going on the 9th, hosted by Kay Renee, Nate Hicks. It was beautiful. Thank you, Nicola, for giving us the space to vent and talk and do our poetry. There'll be videos and stuff on my page sometime about that. But yeah, go to their page, find out more about the event. You can see some of it on ours. This Saturday, there were 2 art galleries that I went to, one back to back right after work. First one I'm going to shout out is a guy by the name of James Dickerson, or you might know him around town as Dirty Kicks. He shoots black and white photos of scenes and everything. He just had his first art gallery open house at the River House Arts, and these two are going to sound similar, but I promise you they are 2 different art galleries. Okay. So the River House Arts, 425 Jefferson, he has an exhibit up there. I was there for the opening and that exhibit, so you can go see it. Check out River House Arts to find out times and everything like that, and you can see his exhibit until March 11th. So that was the first one I went to. The second one I went to was Midwest and Beyond, a street and art culture experience, graffiti artists and stuff like that. So shout out to Contron, shout out to Chris Rodriguez, or Rodriguez, as you may know him. They both the largest mural right now in the United States, the sunflower that we have here. I believe they were both on that. I know definitely Chili was, and Luke Stockley, I want to say I got that right. But they had a graffiti thing. It was beautiful. I showed up. I had some other friends show up, and their art gallery is still open. It is going on until let's see, the exhibit is going on until, well, it's not on the page. So I will go check out River East. Now the other one, it was the House River stuff, but this is River East Gallery on the east side. It's located at the address is not on here, but if you go check it out, you can go check it out. Go check it out. There's some photos on my page. It was beautiful seeing both the different culture, from photography, black and white, professional, all that good stuff, to graffiti. People like me that like painting on things. I actually got to paint last week, as before I went to that, because they let me put some artwork on the Mad Poet Society. So when I go back this Thursday, I'll be painting some more of the mural.
And that's self-care, right? Like that's what I think is so dope. Like, you know what I mean? Is we can see Jody's self-care. I'm working on trying to figure out a way for you to see my self-care.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So speaking of self-care, if anybody is in need of some self-care, do we still got the thing up there, or do I need to put the book up?
Oh, it's right there, isn't it?
Okay, there it is. So if you're into some self-care, that is my 10th published book. It's called The Childhood Trauma Series. It is basically all about that. There are pieces in there that's going to make you angry, pieces that's going to make you cry, poems, short stories, fairy tales, fables, all that good stuff, some illustrations, some artwork, some quotes, process of, self-care, finding oneself, and being okay with not being okay. So 5 minutes of heat, because I know they're about to start clicking the lights off. And there's a preview away. You've heard it many times, or a couple of times on the show before, as I was writing the book, because I wanted to make sure that this book is interactive until I get the audio books and stuff like that. But anything, the 52 poems that are in this book, you can go to my YouTube, you can go to my Facebook page, and you can hear it in my voices. Some of my quotes is, some people will read this in my voice, but you can literally do that because I've done it so much. Tomorrow, as we raise the flag, I am very happy and proud to be one of the people that give life to activism through poetry. So last year I read last year was Trust Us, which is in this book, and it was it Broken Clock?
It could have been.
Well, it wasn't Broken Clock, because Broken Clock is going to be this year. But it was, I think it might have been Beat the Drum. I know I've done Beat the Drum. I know I've done Silent Face in the Crowd. And there was another one that I did, but that's okay. I did Trust Us last year.
We're going to run out of poems when we do this so much.
Oh, no, I never run out of poems. There's a lot to tell and teach people. I even got a piece in here, which you'll be hearing this month, because, today is officially Black History Month for the show. Because when we come back, we'll be well into the
that's right.
Although, as our companions say, Black History Month really started on the
Dr. King holiday.
Yep, the 16th. So that's when the official is. But all that good stuff aside, this is what you will be hearing, minus 10 seconds and stuff like that, called Broken Clock. It is a piece on what our culture goes through. I'm very proud of this piece, inspired by a woman by the name of Sonia Vermel, who just a couple years ago, I kept telling her she has a farm. She was like, no, I got a garden. And guess what? She's got a farm now. She owns that land over there by our house. So without further ado, I thank everybody for watching, listening, sticking with us through over the years. Shameless plug, if you want to throw that up there real quick. How to get a hold of us if you would like to donate and stuff like that.
Look, if you like what we do, I don't know how we messed that up. All right. If you like what we do, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share, comment on what we do. That's our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 100. So if you're watching this, if you haven't subscribed, go on YouTube, click in, type in Community Solidarity Response Network. You'll see our YouTube.
Subscribe, hit the bell, do all the likes.
Right, hit the notifications. We're trying to get up to 100. When at times you have people with millions of subscribers, hey, we're just trying to get to 100.
When we get to 100, we can also actually do more stuff at 100, like show you photos, create posts, let you know what's going on besides the video minutes. So, and we really love that engagement.
And if you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App CSRN 419 or PayPal CSRN 419. Like us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. That way you don't have to look at our ugly mugs. You can just listen to our ugly mugs. Check out our YouTube channel, and we're going to start posting more on Twitter too.
Yep. Maybe so.
All right. Hey, listen. And thanks for that reminder. All right, because we didn't put that up there.
All right.
Go to YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. You can watch YouTube anywhere, right? On any TV. Yep. Make this part of your Tuesday watching diet.
Oh, okay.
Or go back and rewatch some of the old shows. So, without further ado, again, I want to thank Sonia Ramel for inspiring this piece. We had a very good conversation about community, as in Sean Mahone was saying, about how do we build our communities when we got so many distractions, and this, Haley, about being aware. Awareness is also part of knowing where you came from. So
that's right.
Let me give you a little bit of where we came from in this piece called Broken Clock.
Let's get it.
Let's begin. Peace. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? My grandmother's generation, the oldest I can remember, spent her entire life, moving on up from the east side, trying to find the high rise, but the elevator was broken. Only specific folk could move into the express line and have all their dreams fulfilled. You know, the ones with the sought after skin, silky hair, and had a long, yes, long history of oppression behind those contracted lies. The ones whose dream is to succeed, but only, yes, only off the backs of others. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? Our grandparents and great-grandparents sacrificed everything, yes, everything for their plot of land, knowing how valuable it is to have something to call your own and can pass down to future generations. No matter what sacrifices they had to make, they were building, yes, building for a better future. Now no one owns nothing but debt and the shiny things they can buy to fill the hole of owning nothing, except something, yes, something that can be taken away if you don't get your last paycheck. How have we become so lost, accepting handouts from the very same people that see us as numbers and the calculatable items at the end of the year to raise the price of everything? You trust no one, but you trust them, the very same governments, organizations, political parties, nonprofits, and subsidies that keep your blocks broken until it's time for re-election or a new survey, yes, a new survey to come through to find out what blocks have been given up on. We tear down everyone, yes, everyone that tries to build for themselves by discounting them to death and asking, yes, asking for a handout from people who barely have all the gear they need to reach the top. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? You don't need to be led to know how to follow, but we've been conditioned to think that if we don't grab everything for ourselves, when they throw us the scraps back to us, off the hard work, yes, the hard work we put in to build our communities, we're the ones that failed. How much longer are you willing to just survive and struggle, leaving future generations with less and less? Because we only give when we're told to. Take it every opportunity and leave nothing, no, nothing but scorched earth. How many leaders have to die or be broken in community-funded organizational startups or stomped to the ground by big organizations who see the block as another item they can control with the subsidies that they lobby through PAC funding, defunding, and gerrymandering of districts for generations of traumatic loss for the youth? If you cared, you'd start resourcing, yes, resourcing the resources that mattered, the ones that they programmed you to believe only serve them. You'd start seeking out, yes, seeking out grassroots farmers, reaching out to people who don't need the attention or the spotlight because we're too busy doing the work. You'd start investing, yes, investing and spending your own dollars in your own communities instead of trapping out the few resources your ancestors left you. My grandmother's generation was so focused, just so focused on moving on up from the east side that they left their land, yes, their land, for a high rise, creating a generational curse for my mother that I now have to break the chains of. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up instead of building, yes, building our communities ourselves in peace?
All right, and as always, we snap our fingers. Julian, it was awesome having you, having our brother Sean Mahone Sr. and our reoccurring guest, which is Haley Shears, to give us that Black girl magic energy here. All right. Not that I don't like you, Jody, you know.
Jody, that was a longer one. I had my fist up. It started shaking. It got sore. I got since it's protest season, let me get back in protest shape.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good one from the book.
And before we close out, another shout out to the law department at the University of Toledo. The students held a vigil. They called it a protest, but it was more like a vigil. And any time young people can find their way to speak truth however they can. So I was there with them. That was what's up. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was what's up. So anyone that was there that may hear this, good looking. You guys represented your class.
Awesome.
All right. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all lives matter.
Matter.
Justice for all.
Yeah.
Peace.